TD Ryan Unleashed is brought to you by Scott Diamond, your State Farm Insurance agent in DeKalb. Call 815-748-3101 or stop by at 2587 Sycamore Road, Suite D in DeKalb. Like a good neighbor, Scott Diamond and State Farm are there. Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more at 824 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. Don't forget Kids Eat for Free on Thursday. For delivery or pickup, go to pizzavilla.com or call 815-758-8116. Elder Care Services of DeKalb. Safe, secure, and supported, helping you stay in home where you want to be. Call 815-758-6550 or stop in at 1701 East Lincoln Highway in DeKalb or on the web at ecsdecalb.org. My Insurance Guy in Sycamore covers Medicare to auto care and everything in between. Stop by at 204 South Main Street in Sycamore. Call 815-899-0950 or online at myinsuranceguy.com. Welcome into TD Ryan Unleashed News Podcast number 37. With us, as always, the oak tree of the news department, Dan Lynch. Dan, how you doing, my friend?
Spring is coming. That's nice.
It's coming. Yeah, it's actually quite beautiful out there. I know the sun came out, too. And our very special guest, too, about a year ago, Erik Mahan is now the chief of police of Sycamore. He was appointed to the position early in 2025 as he officially sworn in on March 17, 2025, succeeding retired Chief Jim Winters. And honored and privileged to have with us right now, Chief Mahan. Chief, how you doom, my friend?
I'm doing well.
Thank you for taking time. You know, last time you were here with us before, we were saying goodbye to Jim Winters, and you were here, but we had a whole room full of police officers. We had Sheriff Andy Sullivan, we had Chief Byrd here, and, of course, Chief Winters and yourself. And tell us, how has it been now, a year at the head there at the Sycamore Police Department?
It's been good. It's been a pretty nice transition. Everybody's been very welcoming and supportive. It's been a lot. There's been a lot of
Yes.
Work. Not that there was anything wrong with the department, but just a lot to learn and a lot to get through. So.
And how was the transitioning from one? Because we know somebody always has to be ready, right? I mean, if God forbid something happens to the police chief, somebody's got to be stapled. And obviously there's an assistant police chief, but how did you train for this to take over the Sycamore Police Department?
So I just had a lot of experience in St. Charles working under different chiefs and, taking different classes and preparing and that type of stuff. And I was very fortunate when I came to Sycamore. Deputy Chief Joe Meeks, Joseph Meeks, was still there because if you remember, Deputy Chief Wigg retired also with Chief Winters. And Joe was a godsend. Joe really helped with the transition, helped keep things seamlessly moving as he was teaching me about Sycamore Police Department. But really just kind of hit the ground running. And it's a different place, but the job is the same, and the different faces, but the names
right?
are right.
Very good.
Exactly.
Now, I have an article from back in January 19th. Sycamore Police Chief says it's time to modernize city security cameras. Now we're talking about the cameras there at the police department, right, Jim? Tell me about it.
Correct. Yeah, we're talking about cameras, security cameras for the police department. Really, just a risk management look at it. Covering areas like our evidence packaging, our booking room and stuff like that, where we're going to be in close contact with people, and where there's potential for risk there. Want to make sure that we're complying with all the state laws and with all the best practices.
And the quality of the video, Chief, is important, right? Because
Absolutely.
You can't have this grainy video, especially inside the police department.
Sure, absolutely right. If something were coming to question. If someone were to claim they were mistreated by the police or something like that, we want to have the best video possible to show.
Now, this went before the city council, if I have this right. We're looking at about $100,000 altogether for this. System would cost $100,500. The upgrade to the police department would cost $79,000, and another $22,000 would be needed to improve the security cameras for City Hall as well, right?
Correct, right. And so this is some door access as well as cameras.
Okay.
The key card or fob replacement.
And what's the turnaround on this? Do we know, Chief? I mean, did the city council say we should do this?
City council's approved it, and it's going to start happening before the end of this month. They're going to start the installs.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you for that. All right, Dan, what do you got for news, my friend?
Multiple social media reports and now legacy media are reporting that the Sycamore Police Chief, Bart Gilmore, has been placed on admin paid leave.
The fire chief.
Or the fire chief. That's E1 if you're scoring.
To our guest here. Yes.
The Facebook group DeKalb County Incident Alerts reported that Bart Gilmore was placed on leave after comments he made to city leaders following the Tom and Jerry's fire, which was in late January. Comments centered on the department's lack of personnel, especially during that call. The city of Sycamore has now made a statement to at least to the newspaper that they've confirmed it, but not a whole lot else. And then TD, you have some information about.
Well, this is the
he
report
said
from the city council meeting itself. It's under reports of staff, committee, and city council members. Fire Chief Bart Gilmore explained that a new ladder truck did not respond to the fire Saturday morning at Tom and Jerry's, as 10 minutes before the call fire, an ambulance call emptied station number 2 where the ladder truck is housed. He said they are currently working with the city manager and the staff to come up with a hiring plan. He said what he would ask for this council is whatever comes of it, that they would be willing to support it. And he has spoken for the last 3 years of, quote, being on the knife's edge of being out of people, unquote. Saturday morning, they ran out of people and had no one to come back into the fire department, to recall, making them totally reliant on other cities there. So again, that's the quote from the city council meeting itself, the report there. And then there's an article in the Chronicle today or yesterday, Sycamore Fire Chief out, Mayor, City Manager refused to provide details. So again, we're very limited in what we know. We don't want to report anything other than what's in the Chronicle here. And I think you pretty much covered what was in the Chronicle there. But it's a shame. We were just talking how we know Bart, just a fantastic guy. And I hope there's a misunderstanding or something else works out. And Chief, I know you're limited in what you can say in terms of this, but you know what? But it's one of those dicey situations right there with what should be said and what shouldn't be said.
And I always think about that, being overextended, police and fire being overextended. I mean, that's serious,
Well, and the timing, look at the timing of this, where you have a call right 10 minutes before the fire, So I don't know how you'd double up on that or make sure that wouldn't happen again, but
other agencies step in.
Right.
Apparently.
And you see that at the police department, right, Chief? We see multiple agencies coming in to aid,
Sure,
Cortland,
mutual
Genoa,
aid response or response to help each other, other departments out. Sure.
Okay. So again, we don't want to comment any further on this other than we'll wait and see what happens here. But we hope everything works out there. And again, we love Bart and hope things work out there. On a related story, we have the Sycamore Fire Station itself and contemplating what to do with that, too. It's just a neat old building. But I didn't realize, it's funny, I'm working over at Hayes Gym right now. And that building's a little over 100 years old. And they have a boiler there that, guess what, is also 100 years old.
Yeah, those are cheap when they go out.
Well, I see now that's what part of the problem there at the fire station was. The former fire station had been heated by the same boiler for the past 69 years. However, the boiler was prone to going out there. Chief Gilmore at the time talks about having slept in the cold there and then trying to get the fans going in the summertime. On February 17th, the Sycamore Fire Department officially switched over to the new station at 1351 South Prairie Drive there. Now, the new building cost an estimated $10.5 million. Again, people are very creative. I don't know what you can do with this building. It's a uniquely laid out, but I could see like some kind of a dance club or something there, or who knows what you could do and dance around the old boiler, kind of bring that.
Well, there was an issue with asbestos in that building as well.
Oh, okay.
That's very costly to mitigate.
And one of your predecessors, Chief Thomas, back in the day, I remember talking to him at the radio station when you had the smaller police station. And
Sure.
He would talk about how the jail was right there. Everything was right on top of each other here. So, again, the need, especially what's more important than the fire and the police department, right?
Sure. Right. Yeah. And years ago, they expanded the police station, still connected to that old fire station.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. The still connected there. And
So you're going to have to sever that old limb.
right. I don't know exactly what'll happen with the old fire station part, but.
And how about the technology, Chief, at the Sycamore Police Department? We were talking to Chief Byrd about cyber crimes, and I know it's more of a national or state level. Still, do you guys have a cyber division at Sycamore Police Department?
So in a really limited capacity, we do have the ability. We have some officers that are trained in the ability to download phones for forensic purposes or computers, but a lot of that we just have to
Farm it out?
Farm it out.
Okay.
Exactly. Correct.
Very good.
So.
All right, Dan, what else you got for news, my friend?
A DeKalb man is accused. He's facing dozens of felony charges after a search of his DeKalb home on February 27th. According to arrest documents, DeKalb County Special Ops executed a search warrant in the 1000 block of North 15th Street. Law enforcement seized drugs, guns, ammo, and suspected body armor. Authorities also found Glock switches, which convert your automatic weapon to fully automatic.
Yeah.
Also found a sawed-off shotgun, high-capacity magazines, LSD, prescription drugs. 28-year-old Michael K. Lang is now charged with 16 counts of possession of a weapon by a felon, also possession of cocaine, cannabis, and psilocybin with intent to deliver psilocybin mushrooms. He's facing 25 felony charges overall.
So that's, and you know, I know you're not a DA, Chief, when we talk about this, but so often we hear about the plea bargaining and stuff, and here's the case where a guy's going to get charged with 25 things. Will he probably get one or two, like he'll plea bargain on one or two things and they waive the others?
That happens from time to time. Yeah, if you're charged with those multiple charges, they may go after the ones that they have the most evidence towards. It really is on a case by case basis, so it really depends.
Does it shock you at all? I remember when I was first reading about guns and gun control, and they say the average person, gun owner, owns 17 guns on average. So when you hear about stories like this, Chief, does it surprise you a guy stockpiling weapons like this?
Men like to spend money.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, right. and have the latest and greatest thing. So, I've owned a gun for 30 years now as a police officer, and I've known some police officers that want to get the latest and greatest and the newest one, and some gun owners that want to do that, and some that are fine with just one or two. So,
as an officer, are you just one service revolver? Do you get a choice of a weapon, or would you, if you want to upgrade?
So it depends.
Do a Dirty Harry and get a.
No, there's restrictions on it, but it depends on the department. Sycamore department is like the department I worked at before, where we allow our officers to purchase their own weapon. We don't issue a weapon unless it's a situation where they need it. But it's in certain parameters. It has to be a certain caliber. It has to be this range of makes. So it can't be the Dirty Harry.
I was just kidding about that.
Right.
But do you have to keep it at the station, or is that your weapon to take home? And if you don't mind me asking, how do you? Because Dan has a weapon, and Dan talks about how you got a gun safe, right? Dan, do you get it with the finger code, or how do you access it?
I have an analog pistol safe because I like it. It's not on a battery, but I never use the thing.
Well, all right. So how does that work though? So you analog.
There's a pattern.
Code you put in. Okay.
There's a pattern for this thing.
Okay.
So,
Because I know you got to be realistic. You want to access the weapon if you need to in a hurry, right? But then again, you want to make sure it's safe as well. If I mind me ask how you keep yours?
No, that's fine. And there's officers. I believe it depends on the officer, but a lot of officers will take theirs home with them. We do have secure areas in the police department where they can be locked up, but with it's the law. So at home, it has to be it can't be in the access of children or anything like that. It has to be locked up in a safe or with a trigger lock or some type of mechanism.
Okay.
On it. So generally, it's not like the briefcase where you go home and throw it in the corner.
Right.
Just lock it up and put it away. So.
All right, very good. All right, now I typed out some numbers here. Professional background of you, and you went to Northwestern University. Go Cats, and then you for the police staff and command. Now, what was that about, Chief?
Yes, so that's a 10-week course that Northwestern University does, the School of Police Staff and Command. So I graduated from Western Illinois University, but I went to a 10-week.
What was your time like at Northwestern? Was it get to enjoy the lakefront and everything on the campus?
I did. I was in Evanston for 10 weeks and got to enjoy, some of the downtown restaurants and that type of stuff. Came home a couple times a week, but most of the time was there working on that class. So.
And you've been in Sycamore about 20 years? Now tell me, where were you from? Where'd you I read a stat the other day that 60% of Americans live within 100 miles of where they were born.
Okay. Well, I was born in Denver, Colorado. So.
Okay. Well, Dan and I both lived in Colorado. I lived in Denver for a few years.
Right.
Found out about the brown cloud when I got out there. I might want to smell that clean mountain air, and I get out there and this brown cloud. But that was years ago. That was 20 years ago.
But I grew up in Lake Zurich, Illinois. I went to high school in Lake Zurich and lived there until the time that I went to Western, and then I got hired by St. Charles Police Department and My wife and I bought a house in Batavia. We lived there for a few years before we moved out.
Okay. Did you want to be a cop as a kid, a patrol boy?
Yeah, my grandfather was a police officer,
Okay.
and as far back as I can remember, that's what I wanted to do.
That's my favorite radio question: is nature versus nurture. Do you think you'd be doing it if your father did or your grandfather did? And obviously, your grandfather a strong influence on you.
Sure. Yes, absolutely.
Where was he a police officer?
So a small town in southwestern Kansas, 30 miles south of Dodge City.
Now wait a minute, Dodge City.
Ulysses?
Town called Mineola, Kansas.
Okay,
Right.
I bet he could tell some stories, huh?
I'm sure.
All right, very good. All right, Dan, what else you got for news, my friend?
DeKalb City leaders approved the Transportation Improvement Program for fiscal years 2027 through 31 at DeKalb Airport. The plan includes long-term capital upgrades, such as rehabbing a taxiway and installing a new weather system with estimated costs of $1.2 million and $850,000. Now, federal grants will cover 90% of the costs, and state money will cover 5%, and then the city will foot 5% of the bill, leaving local shares of around just over $100,000. Approval allows the city to pursue the grant funding.
Okay, well that's nice. I like the 90% with the feds, and of course it's all our money anyway. We always lose sight of the fact it's not like some magic money. It's our money that we're talking about. But that's good to know. I wanted to mention you have a great picture. You and your wife pinning your badge on it. What was that moment like for you, Eric, when your wife got to pin the chief badge on you?
That was very nice. Yeah, like I said, everybody's been very welcoming to me when I got here. I'm very honored to get the position at all, and then to welcome us in, have my wife in there. It was a wonderful time.
What a moment. Now, Dan, of course, recorded on this story a couple of weeks back there with the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office with the reckless driver complaint. The offender's vehicle entered Sycamore and continued to drive in a reckless and dangerous manner as officers attempted to stop the vehicle. Sycamore officers successfully deployed tire deflation devices, puncturing the vehicle's front tire. Officers continued to pursue the vehicle until it drove into a field, and the driver fled on foot, only to be captured minutes later and taken into custody. Now, a couple of things with that, Chief. First of all, you shut down the Sycamore High School and West Elementary School, obviously on the side of caution right there.
We were concerned, right? The vehicle was driving into the area of the high school and the elementary school right there. There's public roads that kind of go through that high school property. And,
Yeah.
And at one point, we had a report that the vehicle entered that area. So as a precaution, we did that.
And when you put those deflation devices down, how do you decide where to do that?
So you need an area where it's safe, that you can
That they can't swerve out of the way?
correct, right, and that the officer is protected, that the officer's not exposed to the vehicle traffic or the traffic of that car. So it takes some training, takes some very careful aim.
Not like in the
to get
movies,
it-
right? Where they just
No,
put them
right.
down there and yeah.
Right. And then obviously, the concern is for the rest of the motoring public out there and
Right.
not wanting to cause a situation where you're putting other people in danger and trying to stop that car.
Oh, very well put. All right, Dan, what else you got there, buddy? You got another news story?
DeKalb Fire, the DeKalb Fire Department responded to a fire last Wednesday morning, 1:40 a.m. This was a residence on Fox Hollow Court, at 1022 Fox Hollow. They brought it under control within 20 minutes. Fire officials say a passerby reported visible flames, and the DeKalb Police Department assisted with evacuating residents. Crews arrived to find a fire in the rear of the home and prevented it from spreading. Damage was estimated at $30,000 and was just limited to the exterior wall and siding. It was ruled accidental in nature. Nobody was hurt.
All right, that's good to hear that, too. So now, but I want to preface this before I talk to Chief about a recent case here, a teen found guilty of second-degree murder and a Sycamore fatal stabbing. I want to just talk to you in general about that, about the safety of Sycamore, and I typed out some stats from these are from 2002, though, but crime obviously way down. Well, let's make it, this I think speaks most of it here. For folks in Illinois, a chance of becoming a victim of violent crime in the state, in Illinois, it's 1 in 346. In Sycamore, it's 1 in 2,371. So there was a lot of stats, but I think that one, Chief, really says it right there, is that the rare chance that you may be involved in a violent attack in the city of Sycamore.
Yeah, and we just are finishing up our annual report from 2025, and our crimes against person are down another 39%, I believe.
Is that right?
Right. So that's good to see. That's going down. Obviously,
But let's talk about this case, not in general, just in general. But we have a group of young people. I traveled in a pack when I was in high school too, and of course you may have a rival gang or another group you didn't get along with. You see them at maybe some a McDonald's or something like that. When do you decide to call the police? Obviously, you want to get away, de-escalate. But we're all teenagers, and we know how we were as teenagers. And what do you tell the kids? You go to the high school, and what do you tell them when they get in a scenario like that?
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is that your decisions have consequences, right? And so it's never, to resolve a conflict, it's never a good idea to resort to violence to do that, or use violence, or to think about, resolving it through violence. Because very tragically in this case, it's irreversible consequences, right? So we try to, especially with our school resource officers and stuff like that, try to talk about empathy, try to talk about, inclusion, and really seeing from the other person's point of view rather than trying to
Force your view on it.
Right. Or fight to solve the conflict.
But the phones are so interesting because not only in this area, but so often you see the case where kids are videotaping something happening and instead of calling the police, instead of alerting the authorities. And
Sure. And unfortunately, we see that with adults too. We see, in some of these horrific things that happen around the country, we have video of them. And why? Because somebody is there, with their phone, taking it. So, it's kind of a phenomenon in society, but, I think we're still good about watching out for one another and taking care of each other and calling 911 when somebody's in trouble. But that's really, I think, what we need to focus on, is that these, violence is no way to solve any conflict. It's not.
Right.
It's not going to help. It's going to lead to larger problems. So
now, and related to that, of course, is road rage, because so often you see that where people just. And I'm guessing now, because a lot of times it escalates quickly. And you want to get out. So my understanding is a great idea is drive to the police station, right? Drive to the nearest police station.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. We always encourage people to drive to either a well-populated area, or if you can find a police station. And if you have the ability to call, hands-free and stuff like that, call 911 and tell the dispatcher where you're at and where you're going to, and that you're driving to the police station.
Okay.
That gives us time to respond, to be in the area, to know what's going on. We're not always at the police station. We're out,
So it might be even closer. Yeah.
So, right. So if that person is calling 911, put your focus on that, get into someplace safe and not into being, again, into a conflict with this other driver.
I was covering a basketball game in Burlington there, and I'm leaving the game, and the pack of teenagers are behind me, and I forget what happened. Somebody got ahead of me and then slowed down, and then all of a sudden it was becoming a thing. And I'm like, what are they, and then they got ahead of me, and then they were waiting for me because I had stopped. And I'm like, do I call 911 now, or do I just actually went a different way? But I'm like,
yeah, that's great too. If you can find it, I'm just going to disengage, and I'm going to, take a different. It's a good way to learn a new way home today.
I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember a movie with Glenn Ford, I believe, was the star, and his family, and they're being harassed by a motorcycle gang on the highway. Ever see that one? At the end, Glenn Ford steps up and lets the motorcycle gang have it. But,
Really?
Yeah, but it's one of those scenarios where he's the only one, the father, and he's got the daughter and the wife there, and a great movie. Glenn Ford looked at it. I think it's Highways to Hell or something like that.
Okay.
All right, you got one more news story? We're all newsed out there.
I got a Hell's Angels story to tell you later, Tina.
Oh,
A 54-year-old Hinckley woman died Saturday morning after her car rolled. This was near the intersection of Salmonock and McGurr Roads. Deputies from the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office responded at just after 4 a.m. and found Jennifer Rogers outside in a nearby field. She was the sole occupant. She was wearing a seatbelt. She was pronounced dead at the scene. When I wrote this, they were still trying to pinpoint the cause of the crash. I was thinking maybe they fell asleep at the wheel.
Do you remember how many years ago was it when they tried to have the automatic seatbelt? You get in the car and you would automatically have to get the seatbelt on? I don't know. What did they do away with that? Obviously?
The Ford Escorts had those. I remember a buddy of mine had one.
Yeah?
He hated it.
Hey, it
was an issue.
Bypass it. And I know
You had to do the waist belt by hand.
Right.
But the one, I thought it was a choking hazard.
Yeah.
Myself.
But, Chief, I know one of the big mistakes young parents make are putting the car seat in them. I read a stat where 65% of them put it in wrong. So you guys at the Sycamore Police Department, you'll put it in there for them, right? Make sure you get it in there right.
We will, or we will at least check to make sure that it's been installed correctly. We want to try and educate the parents too, because they might have to move it to another car. So
right.
So it doesn't necessarily.
Grandpa, I know. I'm raising my hand. Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't necessarily do us any good for us to just do it, but we'll have the parent or caregiver there and actually teach them how to do it. And sometimes even, okay, take it out. Now you do it and do it again.
Make them do it. Yeah.
Right.
And I want to mention the school resource officers. Again, we're just talking about how important that they are, and that is Officer Ludwig and Officer Burris, dedicated to keeping our schools safe, being supportive and connected. And, we talked to Chief Bird about the fact that there's so much more than school resource officers, right? I mean, they're befriending the kids are getting to learn, know what police officers are all about, and vice versa. Just a great program, I think.
Sure, right. Allows them to be a mentor, role model, allows them to, I was a school resource officer years ago, and what I liked about it was just having that experience or opportunity to work in a different environment than the police department or that. And then when your assignment as a school resource officer is done, you kind of bring that perspective back with you too, and a little bit more even when you're just responding to calls, how the school operates, how the school administration thinks. And
as that school year progressed, did you see the kids kind of changing their way of thinking about, the cop is here, and then all of a sudden, hey, it's Officer Erik?
So, yeah, our school resource officers, Officer Ludwig, Officer Burris, and Officer or Sergeant Peterson now, and Sergeant Hooper, those are the most popular people in our police department. They can't walk the streets without somebody saying hello to them or
Short of the police dog, right?
Well, exactly.
Don't forget the dog. So want to honor them. That's great, too. And, of course, I want to mention Ryan Hooper. Again, I didn't realize Ryan was with DeKalb, wasn't he, before? Came back over to Sycamore. Is that right?
He was with DeKalb County Sheriff's Office
for a short while,
I believe.
Yeah.
And then with North Aurora Police Department, and then came back to Sycamore.
All right, very good. All right, Net Look at the News was brought to you by your friends at the Junction Eating Place. The Junction Eating Place at 816 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. Stop by Wonderful Food, 758-5441. And Takis to Go in DeKalb there. They have all kinds of wonderful food, family-run, spot-serving, fresh, fast, and flavorful meals, including hot dogs, gourmet burgers, wraps, and Greek cuisine. They offer 24/7 catering services for individual orders. They generally require a minimum of 6 people. Call them at 815-739-7146 or go to Takis, that's Takis, TakisToGoDeKalb.com. Again, great food and quickly, too. So I also want to mention one more thing with you, is that my phone is ringing and it shouldn't be doing it. I'm a trained professional, and we hide that well. Chief, I want to ask you about this with the Power. Our Power Academy students had the incredible opportunity to meet Chief of Police Erik Mahan from the Sycamore Police Department this week. He shared insights into the daily operations of the department and highlighted some strong communications and interpersonal skills are essential in any workplace, especially in public service. How did that go, Chief?
It was fun. It was nice. Nice small group of high school students there, and got to talk about just some aspects of police work and how communication is probably one of the most important parts of of what we do every day. So, and just how your nonverbals can send the wrong message, or your verbals can send the wrong message, and just being conscious of that. So.
Yeah, it really is interesting when you watch approaching the car. Jim Winters was kind enough to let me do the simulator, and the one once I walked up there was a tinted window, and I was supposed to ask this person for the driver's license. And when the window goes down, one scenario had this person with a gun right there. Sure. Another scenario, I asked that person for their license, and they reached up with a gun. And I realized just those seconds involved with situations like that.
Right. Yeah. And like we were talking about with the road rage situation.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're encountering when you come up to a car. If you're in this tense situation with another vehicle on the road, you have no idea who's in that car and what they're up to. So
And you hear them literally say, I didn't know what I was doing, or I lost my mind, it's
Sure.
like, but
Right.
that ain't going to wash. So, all right, let's take a look at Community Calendar. Community Calendar brought to you by Stagecoach Players Theater. Go to stagecoachplayers.com, 758-1940. I want to report that the tickets we gave away to Gypsy, the people loved the show, so thanks to our friends at Stagecoach Players Theater. The next play is coming up, The Play That Goes Wrong. That's coming up on April 9th through the 19th at the beautiful Stagecoach Players Theater. 5 things to do in DeKalb County, including the Home and Business Expo in Genoa. Boy, I used to cover that every year for the radio station from 10 to 1 o'clock there on Saturday at Genoa Kingston High School. John Carparullo, you guys know him at all? Comedian? He's going to be at the Sandwich Opera House on Saturday night. Franda's Fish Fry. Again, they're sponsoring our sports. Franda Fish Fry, the Lincoln Inn, the Franda Fish Fry. A fundraiser from 4 to 8, Friday through Easter. Guests can choose from 10 entrees, including 5 side choices. Entrees come with soup, salad, and dessert station. 10% of all sales donated to local nonprofits. And I went there. I am not a fish eater. I had the beef medallions, plus all the soup and salad you can eat in the dessert station, too. So check it out. Again, Franda's there in DeKalb. And again, 10% of that goes to charities as well. If you're still hungry tomorrow, the next day, Super Sunday in DeKalb, join the Gilliland Historical Center at noon for Absorbing Ambition, Clinton Rosette, the DeKalb Press, and the campaign to bring NIU to DeKalb. That should be very interesting. You ever hear that story about the river there with the, supposedly when they were coming to look at the campus here, they dammed up the river. So when the guy was coming to decide whether to build the school there, they let the river go, and they got this rushing river through campus. And the guy said, oh, this is a slow day. He told him this is a slow day. Because they had a guy simulating a fish. I guess he had a fish on the line. So when this guy walked by, he caught the fish. So, well, they got it. They got the university. And Kishwaukee Symphony Orchestra, they will perform a spring concert, Spring Pops, the celebration, 7:30 tomorrow night, 7:30 Friday night at the Boutel Memorial Music Hall. And we want to mention over there at the Egyptian Theater, they have coming up Arena Rock from 7:30. A lot of hair bands. Dan, I know you were in the hair bands back then. Or were you? Chief, what did you like for music?
I liked U2 back then.
All right,
was
that's
too
acceptable.
cool.
Chief, what'd you like?
Oh,
music
yeah,
wise?
anything 80s I liked.
I know, 80s
hair
was a
bands
good
or
decade.
whatever. Right?
Yes,
I think so, too. My kids don't think so, but I think it was great.
we were talking about the song Take On Me by Aha.
Yeah.
Still being played left and right. And then commercials, everything. Still remember the video with the cartoon with the guy trapped in the cartoon. And that's a look, again, at the Community Calendar brought to you by Stagecoach Players Theater. Now, Chief, I always tell people that are our guests there on the radio station, they used to charge people to read their obits, and we thought it would be more appropriate just to read them here. This one is Greg Abazad. Greg Mitchell Abazad, 87 of Sycamore, passed away on Saturday, February 28th, with his loving wife at his side. He was a member of St. Peter's Episcopal Church for more than 40 years, a member of the vestry. Now, Dan, you're a religious guy. What does that mean? That he gave, give the hosts and everything? Is that part of the vestry?
Boy, I don't know. I'm a Catholic, but I don't even know my Catholic faith. So
He was he was on the Sycamore Public Library Board, and in later years he enjoyed creating watercolor pictures, just like Grandma Moses there, and loved being with his daughter and grandchildren. And Catherine Lenschow, 87 of Sycamore, married her high school sweetheart William in 1958. They graduated from Sycamore High School, went to Illinois State, played an active role in their family dairy farm, along with her husband and daughter. Worked as a receptionist at Oak Crest Retirement Center, following volunteers for special events after retirement. Her latest love, aside from her husband, was her children and her grandchildren and her great-grandchildren, enjoying Sycamore Pumpkin Festival activities and music at the Hopkins Park Band Shell. She always found special gift for someone enjoying shopping at local small businesses. She was head of the Dairy Herd Improvement Association, starting in 1967, head of the DeKalb County Homemakers Association, leader of the Parquet Victory 4-H Club, DeKalb County 4-H Foundation. She was honored as Maryland Majorette's Mother of the Year, and Lenschow family was recognized as a Great American Family in 1982. Do you know who was recognizing Great American Families? I didn't realize that, but and a member of the Sycamore United Methodist Church. But boy, talk about cramming a lot of stuff into a life there.
That's impressive.
Isn't that impressive? So God bless them all. So again, that's how we like to take a quick look at the obits here. And now we're going to take a quick look at sports. Sports being brought to you by our friends at Franda's. We mentioned the Franda's Fish Fry. It's going on every Friday till Easter there from 4 till 8 o'clock. Pick 4 entrees from 5 side choices. All entrees include a soup, salad, and dessert station, full non-alcoholic beverage bar as well, plus a kids menu. 10% of sales will all be donated back to local nonprofits in 2025. Franda's Fish Fry raised over $4,500 for nonprofits like Safe Passage and Elder Care Services. And, of course, Elder Care Services, one of the sponsors of our show here. So get out there, have a little fish, or, again, beef medallions. You said you're not a big fish eater either, Chief?
Oh, I like fish fry, definitely.
Oh, you do? Okay. Oh, good. All right. Well, go check that out if you can. Sports. Take a quick gander at sports. Again, brought to you by our friends at the Frandas there. Now, Emma Durst, we had the girl. Do you ever think you'd see girls wrestling in your lifetime, Chief? This hottest sport in the state of Illinois right now.
It is, and in NCAA, it's
Yeah, they just declared it a
right.
91st sport, championship sport, they call that, I guess. Well, Emma Durst is the first wrestling champion first girls wrestling champion in Sycamore High School. She won the 140-pound match on Saturday. The junior is the third wrestling state champion, boys and girls, from a program that converted its first medalist in 1967. So she's only one of three medalists in the last 50 years, some of that. So very impressive young lady. She's going to be our guest here on a future podcast. We're excited about that. But again, we interviewed the DeKalb girls wrestling team a couple of weeks ago, and it's very impressive young ladies. They have a great mindset about losing. The one girl lost, and rather than get upset or be angry at the person she lost to, she used it as a learning device, she said, and was looking forward to wrestling this girl again. So me, I would have been miserable, and I never shook anybody's hand or anything. I was one of those guys, you know. Want to mention the Sycamore basketball team. They are regional champions. Do a great job by their second-year regional title for the second straight year. Great job there by the Spartans there, winning the Class 3A regional. The Spartans are now 27-5. Of course, the big story is, if you guys know about Canelan, they're still undefeated. The Canelan basketball team, they just won their semifinals there. They are very good. They got two twin towers, and they got a kid, Crawford, who just scored his 2,000th point in his career. So I don't know how far they're going to go, but they just won the sectional championship. So good luck to Canelan. We don't
they're
usually
undefeated.
Yeah. And Sycamore came the closest. Sycamore was the closest team to defeating them, but they couldn't quite get that done. So that's a quick look at sports there. Now we take a look at the birthday and anniversary list. That's being brought to you by our friends at the DeKalb County History Center. Go to DeKalbCountyHistoryCenter.org. Find out all the stuff we're talking about. Chief, you excited about America 250? Are you doing anything personally, or what are you excited about? Celebrating our 250th anniversary.
I don't have any personal plans, but yeah, it is an exciting time. It'll be interesting to see what types of events go on around the county and around the country.
Yeah, I want to commend your department again every year with the Pumpkin Fest and the car show. I mean, things go so seamlessly that we never realized you guys are there. I mean, which is a good thing, I guess, right?
Sure. Yeah, and we do that with the help of all the other agencies in DeKalb County. We couldn't do it alone, for sure. So, you know, DeKalb, the sheriff's office, every town in the county really sends us people to help with that, and it's a really big undertaking. So it's great to have there.
Do you got a rod? Dan's got the Volvo there, the old Volvo, right? I'm kidding you. What do you have for? Do you have an old?
Oh, I was talking about Pumpkin Fest. I'm sorry, but no, I don't have a car in the
car show.
The car show, no.
Okay. We again, our friends over at the DeKalb County History Center, our own personal This Week in History. On March 4th, 1837, an act for the creation of the County of DeKalb was passed, and the same bill, the counties of Stevenson, Winnebago, and Boone counties were created. The county was named after Baron Johann DeKalb, a German soldier fighting in the American Revolution, who was killed at Camden, South Carolina in 1780. The village of Waterman was surveyed and plated by S.T. Armstrong in March of 1872, comprised a portion of Section 16, the properties of Humphrey Roberts. 3 additions were quickly made. The village was later incorporated in 1877. And in our bicentennial year, 350 voters and 41 political candidates participated in DeKalb County's Farm Bureau candidate nights, most notably Republican candidate Jim Thompson. Remember Big Jim? Mm-hmm. Big Jim Thompson was the only gubernatorial candidate in attendance. Each candidate was allowed 5 minutes from the podium, but most action was in the candidate constituent contacts when politicians took individual questions. Their soon-to-be-elected Thompson drew the biggest crowd in these sessions. Yeah, I always remember Big Jim Thompson. It was one of those.
Was he a tall drink of water?
Big man, yes. But that's the Big Jim there. But
he's not big like Pritzker. Was he
no,
big like
no,
Pritzker?
big like tall,
Okay.
bulky, big there. But again, one of our illustrious governors through the years. And that's a quick end. Oh, in our birthday list, we have to do the birthday list. And that would include, well, Ken Donnell, who's a faithful listener. Ken had his birthday back on March 3rd, so happy birthday to you, Ken. Tom Walling will have a birthday in DeKalb on the 12th. Maureen Moran will have a birthday in Sycamore on the 17th. And Scott Johnson of Kingston will have a birthday on the 17th. Chief, you got any birthdays for in March at all?
None in March, no.
When are you? When is your birthday?
In October.
So you're what then? You sign that you? I'm a Pisces. So
I
I like
have
long.
no idea.
I like long walks and romantic dinners.
Yeah, I don't know what my sign is.
Oh, well, good. That's a good sign that you don't know what your sign is. And of course, our DeKalb 250, and they're looking for you folks here at the library doing all kinds of wonderful things. We were talking about Jack Benny being from Waukegan. They had a great thing on Jack Benny last month. All kinds of great things coming up in April, including a league of their own about the movie classic there. The girls, there's no crying in baseball. There's a candy testing for teens, baseball, American pastime crafts, all kinds of things. There's a little pamphlet here, but go to the DeKalb Library online and find out all the cool things they're doing to celebrate our 250th anniversary. And our thanks again to our friends at the DeKalb County History Center for that. And now that's about it. So, Dan, we always give you the last word. What do you got to wrap things up here?
Oh, I just wanted to ask the police chief.
Oh, yeah, please. I'm sorry. Yeah, good.
You said you came from St. Charles. Someone was telling me about in the Fox Valley, there was a new sleek station that had gas pumps or underground tanks for gas pumps. Was that in the Fox Valley, or was that your agency?
When we were building the station, yeah, their new facility that was built opened in 2019. There was if that's what you're talking about, there had been a strip mall there before, and there was, as they excavated the ground, they tore that building down. As they excavated the ground, they found fuel oil tanks.
Okay.
That were for each business or store there. But
Oh, okay. I was thinking, is this for squad cars for the fleet? and if not, how do police
That's a great
agencies get?
Yeah.
Where do they get the gas?
so
Their fuel.
sorry, I totally misunderstood your question then. But a variety of different ways. We coordinate with the King County Highway Department, and they have pumps on their facility there that we contract with them and just do a purchasing cooperative for fuel there.
You mean DeKalb County?
I'm sorry. Yes, DeKalb County Highway Department. I'm sorry. So we just have a cooperative with them that we purchase fuel through that. Some places will have a fleet card. A lot of the county sheriff's offices where they're covering a lot of ground, they may have a fleet program where they're able to go to different service
Just use the
stations.
card. Right. Okay, very good. Yeah, I forgot to ask you, Chief, first of all, thank you for what you've done for all you're 29 years now in law enforcement, and we really appreciate that, and you and your family too. What do you want? How do you want people to treat police officers? I mean, I have the utmost respect for them. I know other people don't. What do you want? How do you want to be treated as a police officer?
Sure. Well, I try to stress with our officers that, the public trust is our greatest asset, and it's up to us to keep that or lose that. And we can't expect people to respect us if we're not respecting them. So, I had a boss years ago who told me we treat people like ladies and gentlemen because we are. Sometimes they aren't necessarily ladies and gentlemen, but that doesn't stop us from being ladies and gentlemen. And so that's really it. You have to, if you want to get respect, if you want to be treated well, you have to treat people well and treat people with compassion and understand that, people make mistakes in life, and we're here to help them with that.
All right, great answer. Well, again, thank you for what you do and have done, and we'll continue to do. We appreciate that. Now we'll give you the final word, Dan. What do you got?
Oh, I'm just glad
bring
the
it here
winter is
and-
ending.
The Bears are another step closer to Indiana. Well, we'll get into that.
They got rid of DJ Moore today.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. You're successful, and then you lose all your good players. That
Well,
happens, but
they got Colston Loveland, and they
yeah,
got a lot-
did he step up at the end of the year, man? So that'll be fun. That'll be depending on where they play.
Yeah, but I still like baseball, so
All right.
I'm glad baseball's good.
You don't think the year's too long? I heard them talking about maybe cutting it down a little. In 162 games, it's
I think all major sports is way too long. Way too long.
even football because they keep on adding because there's so much money involved. They
In
keep adding
the
games.
age of CTE, and Roger Goodell is so greedy, they have to add more regular season games. Wow.
A big thanks to our sponsors for allowing us. Big thanks to my nephew Michael Davis for getting this on the air, and that's News Podcast number 37.